video, and today I'm going to count all of my Disney pins. So I'm going to take you along the process of counting. Leave a comment down below before I reveal the answer what you think it is. I'm going to make a prediction myself and say, I want to say maybe around like 800 pins. I'm going to count fantasy pins, but I will count them slightly separately, but they will be included in the final total. And I'm not going to count my Harry Potter pins because they're not Disney, but I do have a small collection that maybe I will show you. And I'm not going to count pins that are currently what I class as traders. And I'm also not going to count pins that are currently in my inbox. So by inbox I mean pins that I have received in pin mail that I've not yet shown on a video to you. I probably have maybe 10 or so extra pins to show you, but I'm not going to count those as yet because they've not gone onto pin boards. So yes, let's jump right in. I'm going to take you along, I'm going to sticky post everything, and yeah, this should be a fun little video, and you'll get a sneak peek of some of my collection. I am going to do another sort of TikTok pin collector's tag, showing you like my favourite pin, my first pin, all that sort of good stuff. So if you want to see that or you want to see more Disney videos, then make sure you subscribe and like this video. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started with the counting. So this is my main two pin boards, and actually on this side is a load of non-Disney pins, so I won't be counting those. But I've got these two pin boards, and then I've got my little Hanukkah pins on this like macrame. This has West Ham pins, so I won't count that. And then over here we have my Harry Potter pins, so again won't count those. But yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to try and group them as best as I can, and yeah, I've got some downstairs as well and some out in the hallway which I will count. But shall we stop putting this off and try and count them all? Let's go. So I think first I'm going to start with festival pins. So we've got Food and Wine, Festival of the Arts, Flower and Garden. Yeah, let's start with those. So a nice easy one to start with, that is 7 Epcot Festival pins, and actually this pin coincides with the top that I'm wearing today. And I've got my little helper down here. Where is he? There's Blue. Not interested. So I think the next one we will count is space pins, so let's count those. So for space pins I counted 8. Next let's go for Epcot pins. That's actually a really easy one because we've got 1, 2, 3, and I think that's all for specifically Epcot. Oh, there is one hidden Mickey over here, so I'm going to count that as 5. Yeah, so 5 Epcot pins. I then am going to do attraction pins. So we've got 2 Great Movie Ride and 1 Runaway Railway. There was a Tower of Terror one up here, so that makes it 4. We've got this one, the House of the Future. So what's that, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pins for attractions. That doesn't mean they're my only attractions pins, but those are the ones that are not on specific category pin boards, which you'll see a bit later on. So let's do resort pins. I'm going to include this Skyliner one because it, you know, backs onto a couple resorts. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 resort pins. This makes me realise how much I actually need to like categorise these a little bit better on my boards. Next I'm going to do films, like just random films that maybe I only have 1 or 2 pins of. So we've got Lonesome Ghosts, which is a Mickey short. So 1, we've got Bolt, so 2. We have this Finding Dory one, so 3. I'm gonna count Frozen because I only have 2 here at the moment. 4, 5. That's those. So we're starting off pretty low side of categories. Next I'm going to do wedding because I'm pretty sure I only have these 3 wedding pins. Now I'm going to take this Christmas one off because that's going to go with my holiday pins so I don't forget that. Next, let's do Alice in Wonderland because I have a few of those. So we have one, I'm going to count these as little mini pins with it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 at the moment, but I do know I have another one in my you know, going in tray. I think I should probably add Belle. I'm just going to leave her over with my princesses so I can show you that in a minute. This is like a random one. This is a random one. Let's do Disneyland pins for like the 60th anniversary because I have quite a few of those. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 apparently is a lot in my game. Other park pins, like other little park pins. So we've got this one up here. So 1, 2, we're going to count these, 3, 4, 5, 6, even though that's an Epcot one. Let's just include that. 8. I know it's not a park, but 8. Yeah, so let's go for 8 for the parks. And in fact, I am going to include, I don't know whether to include this in Christmas or resorts. I think I'm going to include it in Christmas because that's the board it would go on. So I think that's everything off this board. I'm probably forgetting one, aren't I? Like, did I count the random Kingdom Keepers one? In fact, there's another Disneyland one there, so that makes 5. Because I know I didn't count that. Yeah, so we're going to go for 8. I'm going to take this one off and put it with my cruise ones just for counting purposes. But I think that is this board done. Yeah, I think that's all done. So let's move over to my holiday pins. So I mainly have Hanukkah pins. I don't really collect Christmas pins. I'm not sure why. I think it's just because Hanukkah pins are harder to find, and you know, I like the aesthetic of the blue and the white as opposed to, you know, typical red and green. So, but I will count my Christmas ones in with it. So this will be easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's easy. 10 holiday pins. So first board done. Let's leave that there. That is not going to stick. And then let's move over to this side. So these are slightly more categorized, so this hopefully should be easier to count. I'm going to count all of my Mickey and Minnie pins. Also, I will count in, you know, this Pluto one. So like Fab 5, shall we say, of these pins. So let's go ahead with those. So I think I've counted them all, and we have 38 Mickey and Minnie pins. I didn't count the test track one, and I didn't count this Chip and Dale one because I'm going to add it to my holiday. So that makes 11 for my holiday board. So 38 of the Fab 5, so that's obviously the biggest at the moment. Let's move on to Stitch. So I have a very small Stitch collection. I would like to get more Stitch as Elvis pins, but this is what I have at the moment. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. And this one I've had absolutely ages. I remember wearing it for my birthday when I was younger. So yep, that's 4 Stitch pins. Next, let's count Winnie the Pooh. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 Winnie the Pooh pins. Next, we are going to count princesses and Tinkerbell. So these aren't all my princess pins. I do have some more of these compact ones, but they are in a set, so I will count those later. So for princess pins, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that is it. Yep, 10 princess pins. We've got a couple random pins in here as well. So I will count those last. We have quite a large cruise collection, which mainly because I went way over the top for my cruise pins when we went. So I'm going to include Castaway Key Pins as well on here. So let's count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. So we have 13 cruise pins. So next, let's count the random pins. So I have like 1 Jessica Rabbit pin. I've got this Disneyland Hotel pin, a casting agency one, a Disney Springs one, these little hidden Mickeys, Lady and the Tramp, and then this Paris pin down here and a couple extra in here, so let's count those. So we have 10 random. And then we have 2 other collections on here. We have vintage Disney Channel pins, and then we have 4 key. So 4 key, very easy. That's just 5 pins. So let's write that down. Excuse my handwriting, it is shocking. Okay, so now we have old Disney Channel. So we've got Bear in the Big Blue House, That's So Raven, Sweet Life, High School Musical, everything Jonas Brothers. Let's count those. So we have 23 old Disney Channel pins, and that completes these 2 pin boards. So next we're going to move on to the pins that I have in frames. Those are, well, some of them are a lot larger collections. So yeah, but so far in the lead, I believe it is the Fab 5 that are winning, because, you know, there's just so many different ones that categorises. But yeah, and Disney Channel are 2 of my biggest ones. I'm just going to go back quickly and just check which have a couple fantasy pins, just so I can note that when it comes to the end of it as well. So we have 4 framed boxes out here. We have Steamboat Willie, The Muppets, Ariel and The Little Mermaid, and then Carousel of Progress. So I will count these individually and then I will come back. So I've just counted them up, but there wasn't actually as many fantasy as I thought on these, so they must all be on my pin boards downstairs. But Carousel of Progress, we had 10. For the Steamboat Willie, we had 6. For the Muppets, we had 18. And for Little Mermaid, we also had 18, including 2 fantasy pins. So I'm now going to go to probably my largest pin boards, which are downstairs. So these are my other 4 pin boards downstairs. We have Castles, Pocahontas, Aristocats and Mary Poppins. So I'm going to count all these up, and there is quite a few fantasy pins I know throughout these. So for Castles, we had 16 pins. For Pocahontas, we had 25 with 7 fantasy. For the Cats, we had 25 and again 7 fantasy. And for Mary Poppins, we had 26 pins. And there's Darren, and there's Billy following. Okay, so we have counted all the pins, and I'm going to count them all up in a minute. I think I way overestimated how many pins I have. I think I used to have a lot more, and I did get rid of a lot of them. And it's only sort of been, you know, this year that I've started growing it again. So I don't think I have as many as I thought. I'm thinking I probably maybe have now around maybe between 400 and 500. So that is where I'm going to stand with my guess. Just a couple of like telling you what is like the biggest in my collection. So the Fab 5 was hands down, you know, the biggest collection, but that does, you know, that's Mickey and Minnie, and it includes, you know, a couple like event pins, things like that. No surprise, you know, my Pocahontas, my Cats, Aristocats and Mary Poppins were some of my largest collections with, you know, 26 and 25 pins. For fantasy, I did have the most Aristocats and Pocahontas pins at 7. This could very well change within the next couple of weeks because of the pins that are coming into me, ironically. And then the next highest collection was my Disney Channel pins, and that was no surprise because I do have a lot of Jonas Brothers pins, and there are lots of different movies that encounters. So I'm going to grab my calculator and calculate how many pins we have here. So I also just realised that 4 out of my 5 4-key pins are fantasy as well. So yeah, I'm going to calculate fantasy and authentic and then give you the final total. Okay, I just counted it all up. If you want to leave your final predictions down below. So for fantasy pins, I have 26 fantasy pins total. Again, that's not including what is sitting in my, you know, coming in tray, and that is also excluding Harry Potter pins because they are majority, yeah, majority fantasy pins. So 26 fantasy pins total, and then for authentic pins, drum roll please, we have 300 authentic pins. Again, not including what is in my coming in tray. So yeah, a lot lower than I thought. I think that's because I don't have a ton of like hidden Mickeys. I'm not big on, you know, collecting a whole collection of things or a whole series. It's very much, does this fit with my collection? Do I like it? And I guess that's represented within the numbers. So 326 pins total, which I was outstanded how many. I definitely counted more than that, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. So yeah, 326 pins. I wonder if I did this again this time next year, like how big my collection is then, because I've definitely gotten back into it, especially this year, and I've definitely spent a lot of money on pins this year, as you can tell from my channel. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing this video. If you want to see any other Disney related videos or pin videos, then make sure you subscribe, like this video, and leave me a comment down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.